Thank you, Kyla. Another big story we're following this afternoon. David DePape, the man accused of assaulting Nancy Pelosi's husband in their San Francisco home. He took the stand today in his federal trial. It was an impassioned account at times. DePape breaking down on the stand, saying he hit Pelosi after realizing his plan might be unraveling. KRON 4's Teresa Estacio joins us live from the newsroom with more from his testimony. Teresa?
Oh, hi, Grant. David DePape confessed that he went to the Pelosi's home as part of a bigger plan to end corruption in the United States. At times, tearful on the stand, he did not deny striking Pelosi and cracking his skull. He explained to the jury that he went to the Pelosi home to talk with then Speaker Nancy Pelosi about his thoughts of Russian involvement in the 2016 election. He planned to wear an inflatable unicorn costume and upload his interrogation of her online. DePape said that his ultimate plan was to get targets like Pelosi to admit their role in his belief of the corruption of the election. He spoke for over an hour. His testimony also included how he watched YouTube videos about former President Donald Trump and how that swayed his opinion. DePape also pleaded not guilty in this federal trial where he faces 2 counts. One for the attempted kidnapping of a federal officer and the other of assaulting a family member of a federal officer. Legal experts say DePape's testimony today was a calculated strategy important for the defense.
It was important for the defense to say not only is he suffering from mental health issues, but he is remorseful and he gets it that he committed a violent act. And apologizing to the jury is never a bad idea. And I think that was helpful to his case because this was a vicious attack. And I think he needed to recognize what he did was wrong. That doesn't mean he's guilty because the defense is going to say the DA did. The defense is going to say the U.S. attorney didn't meet their burden because they haven't proven the elements of the case. But being remorseful and empathetic on the stand, I think, was helpful to Mr. DePape's case.
On Monday, Paul Pelosi testified about the attack in his home. He said that it was traumatic. He recalled being awoken by a man yelling for his wife, Nancy. He also gave some pretty chilling testimony about how being struck in the head, and he laid on the floor in his blood. Court is continuing at this hour with the defense calling more witnesses, including a neighbor of the Pelosi's. In the newsroom, Teresa Estacio, KRON 4 News.